Welcome to 10,000 Things, the Vidcast with two sisters writing and publishing, where we tell you the 10,000 things you need to know to write, publish, and promote your book. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins.
And I'm Catherine Greenspan.
And we are two sisters writing and publishing. Super excited that we're coming up on 5 years since we started our company, and we are about to publish our 27th book. Really exciting. So tonight, we have a special topic for you. It kind of pertains to what's going on in the United States and around the world. And it's something that can help you every day for the rest of your life. And what is it, Catherine?
It's journaling, the power of journaling.
Yes. So Catherine and I have been journaling since childhood. We used to have those little diaries with a little lock on them. And we grew up watching our father journal every night at the dining room table while our mother was at law school at night. And so we got the power of discipline and hard work and sacrifice from her. And we got the passion for writing from our father. So here we are, writing and publishing books and journaling daily. So Catherine, what's the special message about journaling right now?
So we have a special message, which you'll go into, but it's not just our message. On last Friday night on the PBS NewsHour, there was a special segment at the very end of the show. The historian and biographer Janice Nimura gave this really great piece about the importance of journaling right now, because journaling is your personal history, she says. The value, and the title of the segment was The Value of Writing Our Way Through a Tumultuous 2020.
I love that. Love it.
So actually, connecting this to our contests, which are short story fiction, we opened up a contest a couple of weeks ago, and it's open through the end of the year, and it's about 2020. And all you have to do to enter this short story contest is have the words 2020 in the very first paragraph. So you can go to our website, twosisterswriting.com/contest to find that. And Elizabeth is going to now talk about why we're so passionate about journaling.
Yes, I love journaling, and I'm constantly telling people they should journal. You should journal every day. I journal every day, often throughout the day, and always before my sleep. Like, I have a whole ritual. I journal, I read the New York Times, I drink chamomile tea, and I inhale lavender oil. Okay, that's my routine, with a Himalayan pink salt lamp glowing peach in the room. So it's like my wind down. But journaling helps me relax. Journaling is like verbal vomit. It helps you purge all the negative feelings, the fears, the worries onto the page so they're not inside you roiling around anymore. And you feel better, or at least I do. So look, I have all kinds of journals here. I have this one. I have this one that Catherine gave me. And Catherine and I love journaling so much that we actually created a series of workbooks called Power Journal. This one is the 28-day challenge, and we have a question for 28 days in a row that help you dive deep inside yourself to figure yourself out and live bigger, better, and bolder. And then this one is 28-day journal, Power Journal for weight loss. And it helps you figure out why you overeat and have a weight problem. Because I use this method to lose 100 pounds, and it really makes me feel better. And now I teach it. And I'm actually teaching a workshop at the Detroit Writing Room in January about Power Journal for weight loss. So my point is that journaling is a very powerful, powerful tool that you can use on a daily basis. And I want to especially encourage you to journal right now during the coronavirus pandemic, because there's 4 reasons. 1, it makes you feel better. Anxiety, stress, worry, uncertainty. Write out your feelings, and you just feel better already.
So I just want to interrupt and say that it can make you feel better. When you do it regularly, it can make you feel better. But when you first start doing it, you're just like, you just said, it's like verbal vomit. So that doesn't necessarily feel that good. But one of the things Janet Nomura said is you write not to set down what you think, but to figure out what you have to say. So journaling is a way to purge your conflicts that are going on in your head and come to the understanding of how you want to feel and what you have to say. So it
Mm,
can be very helpful, but it's not like you just sit down and because you're journaling, you're in a much better mood. No, sometimes it's really rough. It's really rough to journal. And the Power Journal books are guided tools to get you from point A to point B. Like the first one, the 28-day challenge, is to find your inner purpose. And the one about weight loss is it's not about the weight, it's not about the food, it's not about the number of crunches you can do. It's really about to find out what's going on inside that's causing you to hang on to extra weight. So these are tools that through journaling can help you figure specific things out, but journaling every day. So you have your Himalaya pink salt lamp and your lavender oil. Okay, so that was number one. It can make you feel better.
yes, yes. And so, secondly, another reason that I journal is that it chronicles my day. So, when I wrote my memoir, I actually had each day recorded in real time. And so it was really easy to write my memoir. So that's my reason number two that you should journal right now, especially because this is a historic time, the election, the pandemic, and all the other things that are going on. You are living through history. And so write it down, record what your thoughts and feelings are. And then if you ever decide to write a book, you'll have it already chronicled. Another thing is that it helps you, like Catherine said, it helps you process what's going on. It helps you figure out, whoa, like sometimes everything is so jumbled in our minds, but then when you do the act of writing, you kind of put it out in front of you in words on paper, and it's easier to process, and maybe you can get ideas from that. So I really think the reason number two is to record your thoughts, your feelings, your experiences during this historic time in America and the world.
Wasn't there a fourth reason to journal?
Yeah, the fourth reason to journal is that you might get creative ideas for future books, and a journal is a place where you just grab it and write it down. And then you can set it aside and refer to it later when you decide to write that screenplay or write that poem or write that book or write that letter to somebody. Um, and it's really, really powerful when you have all these ideas compiled in one book. So tonight in one journal, tonight we started something called Writer Talks here on the Two Sisters Writing and Publishing channel, and I interviewed a young author, Alexis Graham, and she talked about her notebooks and journals where she keeps all of her ideas. So as a writer, you want to stay organized. You want to be able to find your material. You also want to record the ideas as they come because we're so bombarded by information all day long. It's easy to forget. And you're like, oh, wait, what was that? No, write it down. And your journal is the place to do it.
So, and that is one of the 10,000 things that you'll need to know is where do you put your ideas? Because sometimes when you're working on one project, you'll get an idea for another project.
Mhm.
And if you don't stop, if you don't interrupt what you're doing and write it down, it can be just a fleeting thought.
Right.
So when you have those great ideas in the shower or when you're out walking or running or driving, have your journal with you. Have a notebook. Alexis Cram said she keeps a notebook small enough that she can have it with her at all times. So that if
Mhm.
she's moved to write poetry, She's an amazing poet. If she's moved to
Mhm.
write poetry, she's got it right there with her.
Mhm.
And that can be your creative outlet for when you're having difficulty. Let's say you're writing your book and you're stuck, and all of a sudden something clicks as you're standing in line somewhere
Mhm.
or driving. You got your book, you know that that's like the vault of all your ideas.
That's a perfect segue into my next point about journaling, Catherine, because journaling is an extremely private endeavor. We're talking about journaling for the sake of putting it into a book someday. However, some things don't go into the book. Journaling is a place where it's just you and the page, and nobody ever, ever, ever has to read your journal entries. So you should keep them in a private space. What?
Janice Nimura, I'm going to quote her again. She said, "Journals are scribbled in private and full of naked feelings."
Wow, that's powerful. Well, I don't want to see my I don't want anybody to see my naked words. So, um, when I wrote my memoir, it was really, really difficult to go through my journals and see how I had struggled with some things over the years, especially when I was in college, and how much time and energy I wasted in my life on these topics. But the healing and good thing about that was I said, you know what? Forget that. I'm not going to waste that kind of mental and physical energy on a problem like that anymore. So, journaling can help also serve as a mirror into yourself where you notice patterns, thinking, behaviors that you really just want to leave in the past and step forward fearlessly and fiercely to be bigger and better.
Another thing you can do is have a bonfire. In 2014, I had a bonfire and I burned all of my journals from before 1999. It was great. It was really cathartic. I remember standing there because it was in the backyard over some stones. It wasn't like in a wildfire area. Plus, I had a hose nearby in case something happened. Um, but I was ripping them, to break them down, that some of them had like cardboard covers. And there was one, it was white and it had black stripes on it. And it was the journal I had in 1989 when I went to Paris. And as I was over this bonfire ripping it apart, I saw on the page, it said, "Today I went to the Louvre." And I thought, you know what? I still vividly remember that trip. I don't need any longer to have this journal to remind me of that event. So I put it in the bonfire and it ceased to exist.
Why did you burn your journals?
Because I didn't want to go back and revisit all those things. As you mentioned, you said about yours, you healed from those things. My way of recognizing and celebrating the healing of all the dumb stuff that I experienced and the naked feelings that I recorded, they didn't need to exist anymore. So I burned them.
Oh my gosh, wow. I feel such an attachment to all my writing. That's why I have so many boxes of papers and journals, like stacks from years gone by. Maybe I should have a bonfire too. I don't think I could do that, but okay. Well, I'm glad it worked for you, pal.
Yeah, it was great. But I did. I mean, I kept all, so I still have them from 1999 forward, which is still a huge chunk of time and a huge chunk of journals. But
Mhm.
everything prior to that, like all the silly things that I wrote about in high school and college, that's all gone.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So journaling is really fun also because you can like script your next day and script your life. And there's something metaphysical that occurs when you do this. When you write out the night before what you want to occur the next day, it really activates something within yourself and in the universe to help you manifest the best case scenario for what you're doing. I've had some pretty stressful experiences recently, and I literally, the night before, would write out the resolution that I wanted to experience the next day, and it happened. And in fact, a couple of the instances occurred better, faster than I anticipated or that I had been told would happen. So, really, writing is a magical process. It really can help you manifest.
Well, and part of that is that when you visualize things, you can actually create them. You can create the future that you want. And so taking it to the next level and writing out your visualizations, and that can lead to story writing if that's what
Mhm.
you're doing.
Mhm. Yeah, and another thing is writing doesn't have to be perfect in your journal. Like, I don't capitalize or use perfect punctuation. I just get the ideas down. A lot of times I have mega typos or I have abbreviations of things. So it's really all about you. It's your, and you know what? If I were ever with somebody who violated me by reading my journal entries, they would not be in my life anymore because I would consider that such a violation of trust and boundaries. I know people who've had relationships where their partner read their journals. And unless you ask them to read them or you lay it out for them, and say, what do you think about this? I think that is just absolutely taboo.
I agree. But then there's also this idea of, do you write in a journal like a notebook, like a two sisters writing and publishing notebook, or do you write on your computer? I cannot journal on my computer because my computer is where I work. And my journal has its own little table that I sit on, like a cushion, and write on the journal on the table. Like it's my special journaling table. That's the
Oh, I
only
love
place
that.
that I journal. I don't have a Himalayan salt lamp or any essential oils nearby, but that's where I journal.
That's hilarious. But you know what? Journaling, see, it's part of a ritual. Journaling is a ritual, and I think it's a really beautiful way of self care because it's expressing yourself, it's giving yourself private time, you're sitting still, it's quiet, and it just feels really nice to be able to sit and press pen to paper. They say there's some kind of physiological difference between actually writing with a pen because it takes longer for your brain ideas to go down your arm onto the paper and write. It's way slower than typing. And so there's something that enables you to slow down and process the information that's really, didn't you say the word cathartic?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are huge advocates of journaling. It was so wonderful to read our father's journals. He kept them from 1965 to 1990, and he wrote in these spiral bound notebooks with his elegant handwriting. And he would write about the most magnificent moments about starting a family after being a priest, which he never thought he'd have a family, to the most mundane things like, oh, we had meatloaf for dinner. It's like your journal can just reflect all the highs and lows, big and small, joyous. He wrote about baptizing both of us in his journals. I mean, it's really beautiful. So we encourage you to journal. And also, if your state is experiencing new lockdowns for the coronavirus pandemic, where you have to stay home, stay safe, work from home, this is especially a good time to journal because you can, process all those feelings and thoughts, and again, record the historic reality of our today, our now. Catherine, do you have anything to add about journaling?
Just that when you journal with a notebook, you get to have fun with pens. I have a pen obsession. I have, like, I'm not kidding, 50 pens on my desk of all shades and sizes and, yeah, colors. Yeah, it's kind of an obsession.
So, do you write in all different colors?
I do. It's part of the experience.
Do you like color code topics?
No, I just see what mood I'm in and I'll grab that pen. And usually I have like 3 or 4 pens and I'll start journaling. And then if the pen isn't right, I'll pick a different one.
Oh my gosh, I love that. See, she has rituals too. I got my oils and my salt lamp and everything else, and she's got her pen. So that's awesome. We hope that you have gleaned some guidance, some inspiration on tonight's episode of 10,000 Things, where you learn what you need to know to write, publish, and promote your book. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins.
And I'm Catherine Greenspan.
And we are two sisters writing and publishing. If you're finding value in this program, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Please also drop us a comment if you have a burning question about writing, publishing, promoting your book. We would love to devote an episode to a Q&A and or even a whole episode if your topic is broad enough so that we can answer that question for you. Because we've written and published dozens of books, we have had so much learning over the past 5 years, and it's our mission to share that knowledge with you to make your book writing, publishing, and promoting journey all the more easy. So thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins.
And I'm Catherine Greenspan.
And we're really happy that you joined us tonight for 10,000 Things. We will see you next Monday evening, 8 o'clock Eastern, live right here on the Two Sisters Writing and Publishing channel. We'll see you soon, and happy writing.